Good evening. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, welcome to the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. We wanted to note that this meeting is being broadcasted on NUSD's YouTube channel at the direction of the board. The broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. If you would like to make a public comment on an item on the agenda or not on the agenda, please see staff at the side of the table for a public comment card. So the board met in closed session this evening. Trustee Alexander will report on those items.
Good evening, everyone. The board met in closed session on the following items: conference with legal counsel, settlement of pending litigation. On March 10th, 2026, a majority of the board in closed session voted to approve a settlement agreement with the parent guardian of student reference number 2025-26-2005, who asserted special education claims against the district. The board selected and approved reimbursement for services in exchange for releases and waiver of claim against the district. Trustee Pickus made a motion to approve the settlement agreement stated above, and Trustee Jacobson seconded the motion.
This is a roll call vote. Trustee Alexander?
Aye.
Trustee Butler?
Aye.
Trustee Gasson?
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson?
Aye.
Trustee Lametta? Aye. Trustee Mack?
Aye.
Trustee Pickus?
Aye.
Thank you.
Personnel matters. Public employee discipline dismissal release. The board voted in closed session to reassign a permanent certificated administrator to a classroom teaching position for the 2026-2027 school year as a result of the elimination of particular kinds of certificated services as set forth in resolution number 17-2025/2026, first by Trustee Pickus and second by Trustee Mack.
This is a roll call vote. Trustee Alexander?
Aye.
Trustee Butler?
Aye.
Trustee Gasson?
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson?
Aye.
Trustee Lametta? Aye. Trustee Mack?
Aye.
Trustee Pickus?
Aye.
Thank you.
Negotiations and collective bargaining. Conference with labor negotiators, Joshua Braff, CFO, and Francesca Whitcomb, Executive Director, Human Resources, and Employees Organization, Novato Federation of Teachers. Information only. Conference with labor negotiators, Joshua Braff, Chief Financial Officer, and Francesca Whitcomb, Executive Director, Human Resources, and Employees Organization, California School Employee Association. Information only. Thank you.
Next on our agenda is approval of tonight's agenda. May I please have a motion to approve our agenda? Thank you, Trustee Mack. Second. Thank you, Trustee Jacobson. All those in favor? 7 to advisory votes. Thank you. Next, our consent agenda. Would any trustee like to pull anything from the consent agenda? Seeing none, may I please have an approval of the consent agenda? Thank you, Trustee Alexander. Second by Trustee Pickus. All those in favor? 7 with 2 advisory votes. Thank you. Moving on, announcements, and let's start with our student trustee Walker.
Hi, everybody. I hope you all have been well over the last, a month since we last had a meeting? So ASB has been doing a lot. On March 1st, we had our senior showcase, and it went very well. Thank you all to help us raise money for our seniors prom. Spring Fling is this Saturday. Tickets are on sale at GoFans, so make sure to buy your tickets. This week we have a Spirit Week. Yesterday was College Day, which was not Commit Day. Tuesday is Country versus Country Club. Wednesday is Twin Day. Thursday is Jersey Day. And Friday is class colors. Freshmen are teal, sophomores are pink, juniors are purple, seniors are orange. On Friday, we have a rally, and we're very excited about it. Since Pi Day is on Saturday this year, we decided to add Pi a Teacher to our rally this year. So I hope everybody gets to see that, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Other things is our juniors have begun CAST testing starting today and ending tomorrow. And then all of the seniors will be doing CAST testing on Thursday, so good luck to everybody. March 16th through the 20th, San Marin will be holding a Neurodiversity Week fair. Last week, Mr. Boone addressed the racial harm on our campus publicly many times. On Tuesday, he presented our upstander and restorative practices work to the NUSD Equality Imperative Committee at Superintendent Smith's invitation. Wednesday, the PTSA Executive Board challenged Mr. Boone directly on what we are doing and why. Thursday, Mr. Boone sat down with Pony Express Editor-in-Chief Beatrice Plesha for it's either I do well in my calc test today or I speak publicly, so you're gonna have to bear with me. For an on-the-record interview about the history of racism at San Marin, consequences for hate speech, and what we are doing about it. Sunday, Mr. Boone published a message in the week's San Marin Sun naming racial slurs and other things on campus, reaffirming the restorative work does not replace discipline or accountability, and previewing Thursday's Part 3 Upstanders training for staff. San Marin staff is dedicating this week's professional development to more work aimed at giving staff and students the confidence and tools to address harms and repair relationships when it happens. For our visual and performing arts update, Rent is opening this week on Thursday, and we have 9 shows this spring, so make sure you can go and see our amazing cast, and you can buy your tickets on GoFans. For athletics, the boys varsity is at Mission San Jose in Fremont tonight in the CIF Regional Finals, and the winner will play the California D5 State Finals Friday afternoon in Sacramento. Tonight we will honor our varsity wrestling team on their amazing season. They earned the MCAL team's, you guys are going to hear about it, but I'm going to repeat it real quick because we're really proud of them. MCAL Team Championship pennant, and we are thrilled to honor our lone Mustang to reach state down in Bakersfield, Catania. Hi. She had an incredible season and represented San Marin proudly at state. Spring sports are in full swing. Most teams in the thick of their MCAL schedule already, and we are eager to watch our Mustangs compete this season. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Last week we had our Spring Fling and a Spirit Week with a spirit competition, which went super well. Last month we celebrated Black History Month with a food pop-up outside the office that everybody really enjoyed. Our senior class started our flocking fundraiser last night, so if you have a friend that you want to flock, please fill out the Google form that can be found on the NHS Instagram. We have the Lucky Run this Sunday on March 15th at South Hamilton Park at 9 a.m., which supports SafeGrad. We have annual Pi Day activities this Friday by Mr. Blair's Room, 3602. And then for MSA, we have Creative Writing has Emerging Voices this Thursday, where there's going to be a bunch of performances of short plays by our creative writers. And then coming up on March 20th, they have the Words and Images collaboration with photography. Product Design also has their fashion show this Saturday. They have 2 shows, one at 2 o'clock and one at 7 o'clock. And then for athletics, shout out to our cheer team on their incredible work at Nationals. They placed second, and we're also double hitters, so good job, guys.
Less fun. I joined the tech committee meeting. That group is talking about how AI and other technologies, it's super fun, sorry. Other technologies to help teachers better do their job, students better do their job, and making sure that we're being ethical and mindful in all of that. I also joined the school fuel board meeting last weekend. They had their Art Smart showcase where students' work throughout the district was put on display. and they're working very diligently and hard on Tour of Novato. If anyone would like to sponsor anything for Tour of Novato, please find their website. Also look out for your schools. This is an event where the funds go directly back to the school, so it's a great way to raise funds for your school without a huge effort. And it's a great community event, so please look out for those things.
Good evening, everybody. Love seeing so many Linwood people here. Thanks for coming. Woo. I was able to attend School Fuel's art show, and it was so exciting to see all the art that everyone had. I know it takes so much time to put that together, so thank you to our School Fuel team who did that. I also had a Zoom meeting, as I know a number of us have had individually, with David Blair, who's the superintendent of Buckeye Elementary School District. And he is leading an effort right now to campaign, petition, advocate at the state level to change how schools are funded. It was really interesting. I know a number of us have had the chance to have that conversation. At our last board meeting, we approved moving forward on putting a parcel tax on the ballot in June. Trustee Gasson, you talked a little bit about the rationale for how you came to that decision. And one of the challenges that school districts are facing is rising costs. And really, I know that there's lots of conversations within districts around how districts are spending their money. But the root of the issue is that schools across the board are not being funded well from the state level. So it was an interesting conversation around strategies that we might take in order to change that. So also had the chance to attend Beauty and the Beast, which was wonderful. Congratulations to the San Jose team who did that. So lots going on. Thank you.
Just to add to the superintendent from Buckeye Union, it's called Raise the Base. Is a whole website set up, and he's just gathering a coalition of superintendents and districts across the state. It's better for us to advocate as a whole instead of individually as either a county or a district. If we can gather a group, we can make a difference. So hopefully that'll continue to move forward and spread the word. I was able to do 2 site visits at Hamilton and San Ramon. Also Modeling the Way, where we visited the transportation department and honored one of our van drivers. Also Modeling the Way at San Ramon and Loma Verde, where we honored attendance people, the people who do take the attendance. Art Smart Showcase as well, and Beauty and the Beast as well, which is the San Jose drama. I also had a meeting which our mayor, Rachel Farrock, reached out to, I think, to each of us, just to kind of get to know you, which I said, thank you very much for doing it. I run into her and see her at a lot of different events, but hadn't really sat down and talked to her. So it was a nice way to get to know her a little bit and kind of form some commonalities of what the city might be doing in the district and where we can collaborate. And that's it.
So a lot of fun stuff going on the last few weeks, and our student trustees already touched on 2 things. One, the rent starting on Thursday. Excited, my daughter is in it, and I was assigned to look for music t-shirts, and that was why I found this beauty by accident when I was doing that, and I've been trying to talk to my kids about the movie, so it was a lot of fun going shopping for that. And then also Emerging Voices. My daughter participated in that a couple years ago. It's where the creative writing students get to write a short story, and then Sandcastle Theater actors come in and perform it, and it was just really amazing. And so I encourage everyone, if you have time, to go see that. That's also on Thursday. Super exciting. I have a tendency to sign up for things at schools' sites. We get the weeklies from all the schools, from the principals, and I will sometimes look at the Sign Up Genius and found out that PV was in need of some people for their glow dance. I don't think it was last Friday, but the Friday before. So went to participate and help with the food snack distribution, which was a lot of fun, being back at a campus that my kids had gone to, so that was great. And I was invited to attend Olive School's Read Across America, which I always love as well. I did site visits, those are always fun, and the Art Smart Showcase, I loved and was just stunned by the artwork that our students are doing, and I always love having it here too. It makes everything so much nicer. We have JLAC tomorrow, the Joint Legislative Advisory Committee meeting tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that and learning more about what's going on at the state level. So.
Just two things. I also met with Rachel Farrak, Mayor of Novato. A great conversation, hoping that we might be able to put together some joint meetings at some point. I think the time is long past that we need to work more together. So looking forward to that. The other thing is took part in the specialized programs meetings, well, committee, whatever we call it. And first, I want to thank all the teachers who took part in that, the administrators as well. It was a very helpful conversation, and I think it's going to lead to more discussion and working together across both campuses to share best practices going forward. And once again, I just want to say thank you to the folks who took part in that. I know there's some real hard work, and I really appreciate all their efforts, and I look forward to doing more.
Hello, everyone. I was able to participate in the Independent Citizens Oversight Committee for the parcel tax. Appreciate the work that's happening around that. And then some things that other folks have mentioned, but I would underscore regarding Raise the Base in particular, understanding of data and data presentation. The website has wonderful visuals to help us absorb what does the funding for schools look like and mean. Particularly, you can drill into NUSD. And I think importantly, it really does a good job of illustrating the challenges for how schools are funded and what's changed from the initial financial assumptions that were made in order to sort of understand why we are where we are. And then I will also be meeting with the mayor next week. So look forward to that.
Hi, so I also participated in Read Across America at Olive, and I also attended Modeling the Way last week. I attended the Equity Imperative Committee, and I got a chance to see Beauty and the Beast Jr., and the costumes were amazing. I was really impressed. I got a chance to see the performance last year, and I feel like our students every year just keep getting better. So shout out to Mariah Fisher, who's done a wonderful thing, who has done a wonderful thing at San Jose Middle School at the drama department. And I got a chance to attend the Loma Verde Action on Saturday night, and the parents just know how to put on a good party. I felt like they know how to dress up, and I was like, wow, you guys really get into the theme of the jungle. So next year I took notes for next year. So thank you.
Did you get some outfit tips? Yes. Okay. All right. I am going to start off my announcements with introductions. I'd like to introduce you to our new Human Resources Director. Her name is Lindsay Broden. If you would come up, Lindsay, I'm going to share some words and introduce you to the community. I introduced Lindsay to you 2 years ago. She wanted to come back after being a teacher here and then went someplace else to be a principal and came back. And she really wanted to work in Novato. She really cares deeply for our community, and she excels in curriculum instruction, teaching, and learning, and so that was her position for the last 2 years. I didn't know that she was interested also in human resources, so when we got the bittersweet news that our Francesca Whitcomb will be retiring, it was like, oh, now what are we going to do? And then Lindsay's like, I'm interested. So we had, she was part of a process to be selected. So congratulations, Lindsay, welcome. I'm going to share a couple of things. So she's been serving as our Director of TK-8 Services since all of 2024. Prior to that role, she worked as a teacher in our district, both at middle and high schools, before being a site principal in Cotati Runner Park. Over the past several years, Ms. Broden has been preparing for this leadership role. She's completed the CSBA Personnel Academy, the AXA Personnel Academy, along with additional professional training to support her transition into this position. She was selected for strong leadership and deep commitment to the Novato community. And from the words from Ms. Broden, I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to step into the role of Director of Human Resources. I care deeply about NUSD and the people who make this district so special, and I'm excited to continue contributing in a way that supports staff, nurtures our culture, and ultimately ensures the very best outcomes for students. So welcome, Lindsay. All right. Bear with me, I have a few more announcements. Thank you. We had some public comments a month ago at our last official regular board meeting. We had a question about enrollment dates for when a student most specifically enters TK and K. It's an unfortunate piece where you're just right on the cusp and, you know, do I get a choice to go to K or TK? We have some pretty strict policies around that, so we've been working together with that family to follow our policy for all students. And then we also heard from a parent with concerns about the inclusion of our students with IEPs in kind of all the school programming. And we are falling short. Our systems are falling short. We understand that. And so our director of special education is working with staff to support systems to ensure all students are provided the same opportunities and access to school events. That's a value we carry, and we appreciate it when people bring more and more of their experiences to our attention so we can make improvements. All of those things that they attended, I attended as well. And I just want to thank, I think I've missed 3 days for being sick, maybe total, out of my 33 years in education. Well, besides COVID, that doesn't count, right? But I was out for 3 days 2 weeks ago. And believe it or not, the staff did just fine without me. So I just wanted to thank the staff for stepping up and dealing with some stuff while I was out. And then just also today, I'm going to say Dana and IT team, it wasn't their plan, but we had a day without internet today in Novato, in our schools and in our homes. And our team was diligent. They communicated with Comcast. They kept us posted. They kept you posted. There was not much we could do on our end except for communicate and care and go analog. So there you go, a gift, sort of, not really. I know it was hard. Neurodiversity Week is next week, and we also have a minimum day on this Thursday, and we look forward to that time to spend with staff for working on our goals. So thank you all for bearing with my notifications.
Thank you. We are moving on to recognition, and tonight we are celebrating the varsity cheer and dance.
Thank you so much. I feel so honored to be here, and I feel so honored to introduce Patty Nave, who's been our head cheer coach for the last 33 years, plus Dolly Nave Quintara, who I saw right there, coach for the last 13 years, and Marcy, who's been our coach for the last 17 years.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So I guess I have a little shout outs in here that are quite interesting. So good evening, everyone. I'm so happy that you could be here and join us. Today we are here to celebrate something truly extraordinary. A team that didn't just compete, but dominated. On November 8th, 2025, at the JMCIF School Regional Competition, our cheerleading team delivered a performance that will be remembered for years to come. They walked onto the mat with confidence. They performed with power, and they left absolutely no doubt. First place in their division, level champions, and the highest honor of the entire regional competition, grand champions. That doesn't happen by accident. When they took the floor, they didn't just perform skills. They performed with heart, which is so important. Their emotions were sharp, their stunts were solid, their tumbling was explosive, and their energy was unmatched. But what truly set them apart was something you can't choreograph. It was belief. They believed in their routine, they believed in their coaches, and most importantly, they believed in themselves. Winning first in division shows excellence among your immediate competitors. Winning grand champion means you were the best of the best across all divisions, across all levels at that regional competition. So maybe the girls who have the banners can show them. There we go. Turn around. Okay. Winning first in okay. And as a team, the season did not stop there. On February 20th, 2026, Novato High School competed at the JAM CIF School Nationals. For 2 full days, they battled through intense competition, leaving everything on the mat. With a bone-chilling performance that captivated the audience, they earned a 96.1, the highest score ever achieved by any Novato High cheer team. And the way cheer works is on day 1, we were in first by 0.3. 0.3. Day 2, we came in second by 0.1. But you know what? In the Western United States, we'll take it. And I'm so proud of this team. The 96.1 was just exactly what I said, bone chilling. Behind the victory are coaches who pushed, guided, and inspired. Families who supported every fundraiser, every ride to practice, and every competition day. And athletes who sacrificed time and comfort to chase greatness. The coaches would also like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our administration, our athletic director, our athletic trainer, our boosters, team moms, our entire coaching staff, and most of all, our amazing parents. This win is as much ours as it is yours. Thank you for your ongoing support, your belief in this program, and your commitment to these athletes. Today, we celebrate more than titles. We celebrate character. We celebrate growth. We celebrate a group of athletes who proved that when preparation meets opportunity, championships happen. To our champions, you don't just make history at Novato High School. You make us proud. Congratulations on an unforgettable season. Novato proud. I'd like to take 1 minute while we're moving, and I thank you so much for all our time. It was such an unbelievable year, and these athletes fought so hard. But I have Marcy, who I've been with for 17 years, by my side. She will be leaving us and moving, starting a new chapter in Florida, and we love you, and we will miss you. Come on, let's jump in the picture. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dolly. Thank you, Patty. We also wanted to take a moment to share the success of our wrestling tournament this year. It marked the first NCS divisional tournament ever hosted at Novato High School, and it was an incredible event. The event was a true cross-town and cross-Marin collaboration, and while Novato High hosted the tournament on campus, San Marin AD and the coach from Redwood played a key role in helping plan and organize the event, working closely together to make sure everything ran smoothly. Thanks to the teamwork, preparation, and support from all involved, the tournament was a huge success. We had 500 wrestlers all over campus. Well, all over, there's supposed to be one area, but all over that area of Novato. And we're proud that Novato Unified School District set the bar high for future schools that will host this tournament in the future. I also get the honor tonight of calling up our fantastic and talented wrestling coach from our sister school across town, San Marin, Corey Boyd, and his 4 team captains.
Thank you. I'm not Corey Boyd.
You guys stand behind me, I guess? Just like squat up.
Look official.
Hello. First off, I just want to say thank you for kind of recognizing the efforts of our team. You can see in the graphic there, that is just our boys team. We have enough girls on the team now to have their own team picture. We had 13 girls on the squad this year. That's more than the total number of wrestlers we had the year prior to me taking over the program. So one thing we've been focused on is growth. Kind of a key pillar of our program has been process over outcome. What do we have control over, right? The things that we focus on, the details that matter to us, that produces outcomes. Outcomes are then data. We take that data back to the room. We continue to focus on the process. Our boys are coming off of a second consecutive Marin County Athletic League championship. I have been duking it out with the MCAL to get more recognition for our girls. They were finally allowed to have their own tournament this year. We kept score, and the San Marin girls team was first. Novato was second, so throw that in there. All right. So 2 great programs. And in a very, very cool thing, just to give you guys some background, because we are deep, deep, deep in soccer and basketball territory. Wrestling's not popular here like it is in other parts of the state. There is not yet an established feeder program, something that a lot of the coaches have been working on. The CIF State Championship for Wrestling is broadly considered in the wrestling community to be the most challenging state tournament to qualify for and to compete at. Katanya DeCarroll, one of our team captains over here, qualified for the CIF State Tournament this season with a 35-7 record. Yeah. She was the lone representative for the entire county of Marin, boys, girls, at all. She was the only wrestler from Marin County that qualified for the tournament. And during the course of the 3-day tournament, she compiled a 3-2 record. In tournament lingo, there's a certain point in a double elimination tournament where they call it the blood round. Either if you lose, it's your second loss, you're out of the tournament. If you win, you clinch a podium spot, and that is how far Katanya made it. So that basically puts her in the top 12 of the state, which is incredibly impressive. So it's hard to do. My team captains here, Levi, AJ, Daryl M, and Katanya. I wanted them to be here to be part of this as well, because we talk about process over outcome, setting goals and working towards them. Another thing about CIF wrestling, in the regular season, you can only compete in 40 matches total before the postseason begins. So a 20-win season is a big deal. And you are looking at 4 wrestlers who had over 20 wins on the season. And the effort they put into achieving those things was done by showing up every day, being phenomenal leaders for the amount of youth that we had in our program, both on the boys and girls side. Unfortunately, 3 of them are seniors, and I'm trying not to cry right now, so I'm going to miss them a lot. But yeah, it's been awesome, and it is an absolute blessing to get to work with these kids, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to recognize their efforts in our program. So thank you very much.
Moving on. So tonight we have a presentation from Linwood Elementary School.
All right. Good evening, members of the community, trustees of the board, Dr. Smith, and all of my Linwood Green out here. Thank you for showing up. I'm Lauren Menchavez. I'm the principal of Linwood Elementary. I'm very proud of our dual language immersion program, and if you've ever met me, you already know that, so you won't hear from me tonight. I brought 2 of our 5th grade students to talk to you about the foundation of our program, what a bilingual education means, and what are the 3 pillars that our program is based upon. And then because we only have so much time, we made a short video so other students can share what their bilingual education means to them. So we're going to start. Natalie Baranowski has written an essay in Spanish about the 3 pillars of dual language education. And Emily Macedo-Kay is going to translate into English for those of you who need the translation. All right, Natalie's going to start.
La educación de doble inmersión. Dual immersion education. La educación de doble inmersión apoya a aprender 2 idiomas. Los 3 pilares de la doble inmersión son importantes porque ayudan a los estudiantes a tener más oportunidades en el futuro. Hablar más de un idioma significa que puedes comunicarte con el doble de personas. También ayuda a las personas a escribir y leer en inglés.
Dual immersion education supports learning 2 languages. The 3 pillars of dual immersion are important because they help students have more opportunities in the future. Speaking more than 1 language means you can communicate with twice as many people. It also helps people write and read in English.
El primer pilar de la doble inmersión es bilingüismo y biliteracidad. El bilingüismo y la biliteracidad ayudan a los estudiantes a leer y escribir en 2 idiomas, como el inglés y español. Los estudiantes no aprenden en solo un idioma, también usan ambos idiomas en matemáticas, ciencias, arte y estudios sociales. Si hablas 2 idiomas en la escuela, puedes hablar con estudiantes que solo hablan español o inglés y ayudarlos a entender.
The first pillar of dual immersion is bilingualism and biliteracy. Bilingualism and biliteracy help students read and write in two languages such as English and Spanish. Students do not learn in only one language. They also use both languages in math, science, art, and social studies. If you speak two languages at school, you can talk with students who only speak Spanish or English and help them understand.
El segundo pilar es el logro académico. Este pilar ayuda a los estudiantes a explicar respuestas y leer textos en los dos idiomas y puede ser más fácil. La educación de doble inmersión puede ayudar a los estudiantes a obtener mejores resultados en la escuela. Si hablas dos idiomas en la escuela, puedes estar preparado cuando necesitas usar uno de los idiomas que aprendes.
The second pillar is academic achievement. This pillar helps students explain answers and read texts in both languages, which can make learning easier. Dual immersion education can help students achieve better results in school. If you speak two languages at school, you can be prepared when you need to use one of the languages you learn.
El tercer pilar es la competencia sociocultural. Este pilar ayuda a los estudiantes a entender y respetar diferentes culturas. Prepara a los estudiantes para un futuro en el que se comunicarán con distintas personas. Si puedes comunicarte con personas, puedes ayudar a otras personas a entender las diferentes culturas.
The third pillar is social-cultural competence. This pillar helps students understand and respect different cultures. It prepares students for a future where they will communicate with a variety of people. If you can communicate with people, you can help others understand different cultures.
En conclusión, los tres pilares son muy importantes porque puedes hablar y escribir en dos idiomas. Muchas personas no saben dos idiomas y tú puedes enseñarles. La educación de doble inmersión ayuda a los estudiantes a aprender dos idiomas y ayuda a los estudiantes a tener mejores oportunidades en el futuro, como en sus trabajos. También pueden comunicarse con personas que necesitan ayuda. Gracias.
In conclusion, the three pillars are very important because you can speak and write in two languages. Many people do not know two languages, and you can help teach them. Dual immersion education helps students learn two languages. It helps students have better opportunities in the future, such as in their jobs. They can also communicate with people who need help. Thank you.
So these are students who've gone through the dual language program that I wish we had in Marin when I was a kid. I'm just so impressed by them and by their knowledge and their understanding of what they're doing. We have some of our students here who are in the following video, and they're going to tell us, oh, can I do it, Alan? I got it. No, so close. We went over this. Oh, I think I got it. No, I don't got it.
Let me double click it. Maybe it has to be immediate.
Me gusta aprender dos idiomas porque puedo comunicar con mi familia. Ser parte de esta comunidad me hace sentir feliz e orgullosa. Being part of this community makes me feel happy and included.
My double immersion program is important for me because it helped me make my dream of speaking two languages come true.
Mi programa es importante para mí porque es divertido para hablar en español y inglés.
My dual immersion program is important to me because I get to be part of a community that a lot of people aren't lucky enough to be part of.
Ser parte de esta comunidad me hace sentir feliz y orgullosa. En el futuro quiero usar mis dos idiomas para mi trabajo y traducir palabras a otras personas.
Linwood students, can they come up for a picture?
Questions or comments from the board? Okay. Thank you so much, Lauren.
I will just say, I love visiting your campus. It's just always so nice. And so thank you for being here.
Moving on to non-agenda public comment, and this evening we have one. We are so glad to have public comment on any item not on the agenda. 3 minutes are allowed for each commenter. However, we are not allowed to respond to these comments, nor are we able to speak about employees or student privacy situations. The board directs the appropriate staff member to respond to all commenters within 2 business days following our board meeting. And we have Denise McIntyre.
Well, I absolutely hate talking in public and having to go after smart kids. It's just not fair. But I will do anything for my student athletes. So I'm speaking tonight as a coach who has worked in the district for 14 years for both swimming and water polo. As you may have heard, the pool was down for 18 days at the start of our season. This is now the 3rd year in a row the pool has been down during swim season. I'm sure the exact timeline might be debated by the district, but the issue was first reported on Tuesday, February 17th, and the pool was not operational again until Friday, March 6th in the evening. That meant 3 weeks without a pool during the middle of the swim season for athletes from both Novato and San Marin. Water polo players have floated by without quite the same problem, mostly because they avoid competing in the rainy season. I will tell you this is an electrical problem that has been ignored for 3 years. It turned into other problems that extended our outage. For years, our 2 rival schools have managed to share one pool. The students have figured out how to cooperate, adjust schedules, and make it work. They've done their part. We're just hoping the pool's maintenance plan can eventually learn the same lesson. Our swimmers are learning resilience, teamwork, and problem solving. All of great life lessons, but learning how to train without a functioning pool shouldn't be one of them. When our swimmers finally learn to practice without water, I won't have to be so public. So I thank you.
Thank you. Next, discussion action. Approval of the 2025-2026 second interim budget report.
Good evening, trustees. Dr. Smith. Today I'm bringing to you the 25-26 second interim report. As a reminder, the second interim is as of January 31st, and it is due to the board by March 15th. Of course, today is before March 15th, so we've matched that deadline. There are 3 possible certification statuses. That's positive, which means we're able to meet our obligations financially this year, next year, and the year after. Qualified, which means this year and next year, but not the year after. And negative, which means either in the first year or second year, unable to meet them. We are presenting this second interim as qualified, which means we can meet our obligations this year and we can meet our obligations next year. That main obligation being a 3% ending fund balance, also called a reserve for economic uncertainty. Funny that it's only 3%. So this is a snapshot as of January 31st. It does have a multi-year projection, an MYP, that includes all 3 years as required by the state. And there's also some budget level activity that has happened in February. So even though this is a snapshot of January 31st, if we've learned anything in February, we backdate it. So it's up to basically when we publish this, we keep it up to date. But if anything has happened since last Friday and today, it's not in here. So the revenue, some big things, and these are more of the focuses that of what has changed between first interim and second interim. And first interim was as of October 31st. So kind of a lot has changed. We had the governor's January budget. We've gone through basically half the year, and then we get to this point. The local control funding formula, LCFF, has a COLA of 2.3% this year. So that's already set. We had that as the budget last year. The big change is for next year. We originally had budgeted 3.06 based on the Department of Revenue. That has been revised down to 2.41. So again, we're seeing this same trend. The thing that we are responding with is that now in our out years, we have lowered our COLA projections. We are no longer using the Department of Revenue's COLA projections. We have lowered them by 0.5% each on each year going out. We are tired of reacting to it being lowered. I would much rather react to us having more money. And that has yet to happen in my time with Novato Unified School District. So we're trying to maybe make it happen and bring some good graces here by just lowering it. Federal remain flat. There are no new programs that were slated with the U.S. government's budget. However, with the passage of that budget, we now know that all the titles and special education is funded at the same level as before with a very slight increase. We're talking about a 0.5% increase in a couple of programs. NUSD estimates also a 4.1 million in additional one-time funding. These are called the LREBG and the SPEDBUG block grant. Basically, the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant and Student Support and Professional Development block grant. These are one-time funds. The Learning Recovery, you'll probably sounds familiar. That is actually one that we were given quite a bit of money, and then they pulled back 10% of it, and they said, we're going to give you that 10% over 3 years. Well, they gave us the money this year, and then next year, instead of going 2 more years, they just moved it up. So it's not extra money. We had already projected that money. It's just coming a year earlier. And the rest of that money is the Student Support and Professional Development block grant. We are budgeting for that. However, it is a new program of here's a bunch of money to do some things with. Who knows if that's going to actually happen or be at that level, right? Those are the kind of things that they end up pulling from, they being the legislature when they actually fund the budget. Fund 17, we're continuing to draw down Fund 17 for the PARS retirement incentive, CalPERS and CalSTRS increases. And then the projection of enrollment is also the biggest change. So we have a loss of about 92 students going into the projection for next year at about 70-30. We've been tracking our enrollment week by week. Mike Saisi has been super helpful in that space of looking at and talking with the sites to get our TK and K numbers as quickly as possible, and also our transfers to our high school programs. And we're seeing an average of about 7.1, 7.2 new students per week. If that carries, we'll be at 70-30 going into next year. So that is where we came up with this projection. After that, we have a growth of about 30 students per year, which is in alignment with our very low number estimation from our enrollment study. Okay. Now, it did drop down, but that's because that enrollment study didn't take into account immigration changes because they hadn't happened at the time of that study. So this is the snapshot. There is a bigger one in your actual packet. This one that's in the presentation, of course, gets a little truncated, but those are all of the MYP assumptions that we're utilizing. Another big part and another big player in this is our contribution. So our contribution to the restricted programs continues to increase. When I presented this at first interim, we were looking at that it was only going to be about a $2 million increase. That has grown and has grown significantly. So we're now looking at about a $3 million increase in contribution over last year. So that is a big factor of what we need to battle against, because as we're talking about what kind of revenues could come in next year, if this continues to grow at $3.5 million next year, we basically eliminated any growth in revenues by having a growth in expenses. And then the assumptions that were included in this, we have a reduction of $5.2 million ongoing due to layoff resolutions 17 and 20. The 10%, well, 17, 18, and 20, but 20 is a redo of 18. We have a 10% reduction from all discretionary budgets. The additional $3 million in the one-time revenue from the MSIA dividend. A reduction and offset of $1.5 million in expenditures that are one-time reduction. And to remind you, any additional partial tax is not included. We have talked with MCOE, and we're on the same page with them. They don't agree with putting it in until the voters vote yes on that. This was all the same stuff stated in resolution number 8. So the MYP. So basically the MYP says that we'll maintain that 3% reserve through 26-27 next year, but not into 27-28. And the deficit spending does reduce, but obviously not fast enough. So we need to either grow our revenues or reduce our deficits quick enough, reduce our expenses quick enough. And so on the bottom left, I have the ending fund balances, which we can see eventually become a negative in the unrestricted ending fund balance, which means that not only do we need to undo that negative to get it up to 0, but we need to also get up to the 3%. So that's an $8 million negative is what you can consider that. So next steps and conclusions. Second interim had a total change of about $675,000, but remember, we put in about $4.1 extra million in revenue over multiple years. That doesn't affect this year. So the $675,000 change is for this year. Very little change this year. The bigger changes are in the out years. It's only equal to about 0.5% of the budget. So we want to maintain that accuracy. And I put in, just as a reference, it was 1.8, the change from budget to first interim. Change from first interim to second interim was 0.5%. So we're trying to maintain integrity and consistency, but also fiscal solvency and revenue generation are very high on our priority list. So the things that we're going to continue to watch, COLA is estimated to be higher. When I say estimated, School Services of California believes that 2.41 is the floor and that we may see a higher COLA. Are we expecting a 6%? Of course not, but maybe a 2.5, real hopeful 2.6, something like that. Enrollment is projected to decline, as we talked about earlier. The unduplicated count continues to rise. So we are very, very close to that 55%, right? We're at 50.1. If that were because of us having less students, if the higher population of students that we have are unduplicated, that could easily get to 55%. And if that happens, that would bring in concentration dollars for us. That would be guaranteed ongoing as long as we were at 55%. And then also things like ELOP would be affected. We would move from tier 2 to tier 1 rates, which would bring in multiple millions of dollars. The California economy is also continuing to boom. We talked at the first interim and in the governor's budget that is a big unknown. What is the cause of it? How long is it going to last? The thing is it's still lasting. So that means that through 25-26, we have more revenue, which means we as the school district with Prop 98 will get more revenue or be owed more revenue. How much that is, do they defer more of it? Does that 5.4 billion become 7.9 billion? I don't know. But it does, I want to be hopeful about it, right? I want to look at it and say that does mean more revenue is coming in. But again, does it offset $8 million for NUSD over 2 years? Probably not. We will continue to watch it. And of course, we'll have an update in May about any of that kind of stuff that happens. The May revise will, of course, be in May. Third interim, we will have to do a third interim. The purpose of third interim is because if you have a second interim that's qualified, when you have a budget released, remember you're moving forward a year. So we can make our obligations year 1. We can make our obligations year 2. We can't year 3. Well, now you move forward. You can make your obligations, and then you can't, right? So a third interim is supposed to fix it, but as of last board meeting, we put forward the way that we're intending to fix it. So the big question is will it? If not, we'll have to come with a resolution to adjust the budget for next year that takes that into account. So we will have to do a third interim. The third interim will look basically exactly the same as the second interim. There'll be almost no changes, but it should be locked in if that's what the end of the year will look like. And then, of course, we're working already on the development of the 26-27 budget. That begins in January. So we're well in the way on that. So with that, I'll take any questions, and then I ask for approval and acceptance of the second interim as a qualified status.
Thank you so much. 2 quick questions, please. The first one is just a reminder for us. The enrollment you said at 70-30, are you considering 76% attendance against that? What attendance assumption are you making?
Jeff, was it 95 and a half?
I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I meant 96.
So what Jeff said for the microphone here is that originally we were at about a 96%, but we've been trending a little bit below that. So we went even lower so that we would make sure we captured it all, and we have been budgeting at 95%.
Great, thank you. And then following, you made a comment about the impacts of immigration.
Mm-hmm.
Could you just restate that? We're
Sure.
anticipating a certain impact.
Yeah, well, we've already seen that impact. We have, and I like to posit it as that it's not, we don't necessarily know if it's a causation, but there's a strong correlation between the fact that we had 150 newcomers last year that are not here this year, right? And I think that is a very strong correlation between what happened in January of 2024 and the changes to immigration policy and how that affects our district. And so that very much affects our enrollment numbers when we see 150 less newcomers and we have a 150 kid decline.
Of course, and so that's going into the projections that you're taking.
That's
forward.
where our number
The
is
number is
now.
less, okay.
And then what we're looking at for next year is that we have a pretty large senior class that is not being replaced by the incoming TKers.
All right, then I have one final question. Thank you. On your MYP, can you in this chart tell us where we fall below the 3% required reserve? So where do we not meet? In what year are we not meeting the 3%? You said it's 3 years out.
Yeah, well, it's the second year out. So
Sorry, Josh.
What page you on?
Do you mind moving the projector?
Oh, sure.
Please.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This one here. Yeah, so that the first year is the year we're in, right? So 25, 26. We can meet our obligation. If we're looking at this small chart on the left-hand side, we can see that the unrestricted balance is at $5,047,000. We only care about the unrestricted in this case. So there's $5,047,000. The 3% reserve is just about $4 million. So
That's what I was missing. Thank you.
Yeah, the next year at 4.9, we hit it again, and then the next year it's basically negative 8.5.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Just want to say thank you for being so conservative. Appreciate the, especially on the COLA. I like that idea because, yeah, we get kind of jerked around with it, and better that we just get ahead of it. So thank you.
Trying to build a worst case scenario, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the unduplicated count, 50.1. Well, first, do you see a trend there that we might get there, or is it possible we might start slipping back because of what's going on in nationally with immigration, et cetera?
That was the number for this year. Last year was 49.8. So now is that enough with 2 data points to create a trend? Of course not, right? But it did move up. The big difference is that last year, our team, multiple teams actually, but our NUSD team put in such an effort to identify the students and families that fall into the unduplicated buckets. And we actually found those students, right? And we're able to say, let's get those students identified so that we can get the services accounted for. Before that, we were averaging around 36. So did we have a growth from 36 to 49? Absolutely not. But the identification now happened. Now, since we've identified, we went from 49 to 50. We'll see next year, right? Now we'll have an extra data point. But that loss of students happened this year, and we went up still.
Right, so it's a percentage, not count. So
Yeah.
that's important to note. You're right. Okay, it's just such a big change when you hit 55%. I mean, my gosh, so much stuff comes in.
Multiple millions of dollars more.
Yeah, and we wouldn't even necessarily be talking about a parcel tax, perhaps, if that were the case. Anyway, all right. Whatever, I'm open to whatever efforts we can to find that percentage to go to 55, whatever we can do. But anyway, thank you.
Trustee Gasson?
Thank you. I'll reiterate the COLA. I appreciate the adjustment on that because that really, I think people that don't get to see your presentation don't understand how that truly impacts our financials in such a way that it's not about us mismanaging funds or doing all these things that people like to think that we're just, we're not making cuts that we should. But that little bit can just create just a domino effect in so many different ways. And so thank you for thinking outside of the box and doing that. I have a couple of comments I was going to make based on what I saw and then also a question. The other thing that I saw in here as you were speaking, especially about the federal funds, I liked the narrative, and I think it was on page 3. I didn't realize, I knew that it's not in your presentation, it's in the write-up. I always like the write-up, actually, I find it super helpful. But it talked about, that the federal funding came back, but also I didn't know that there was legislation that would not allow that to happen again, the withholding of funds. So I thought that was important to note, because I think that was a huge concern in our community in a lot of places about all of that. So I appreciated that. Hopefully that won't get to happen again. Also, thinking back to my time here about Fund 17 and feeling, we were trying to be, thoughtful and setting money aside for the STIRS and PERS, and we see that come into play now. And so, it's not great that our ending fund balance is going to be so low, but thank goodness that we actually had done that, and so that was strategic. The other thing I noticed just as I took a step back from looking at this and actually not having the internet all day today, was when I just looked at the financials, it just really struck me, the comments that we get about, if you did things better, if you did better in your budget or strategize, and I looked at this, it's the restricted stuff that we're having to transfer money into support. And so it's not about us not doing the right thing. It's all these restricted things and needing extra money that's pulling out of our general fund. And so I just thought that was a huge piece that just kind of resonated for me as we're talking about what's going on, with our financials. And then the one question that we've got, and I would have sent this ahead, but seriously no connectivity today. If you could explain what it would mean if we don't resolve the shortfall in those outcoming years. So that question's been asked a couple of times, like, what does it mean to us? Like, what happens?
Yeah, so if you certify negative, then the county steps in to basically take over all your financial transactions. You lose a semblance of local control with that. And then the question is, can the county do anything to right that ship, get it back to qualified? If they can't, and at the end of that year, you are actually negative, like you literally negative, you've got not certified negative, but you are now no longer above that, it becomes state receivership. What state receivership is simply is a loan from the state at an incredibly high interest rate that makes it almost impossible to ever pay off, as most of the districts in California that are in state receivership have found out. That and the problem is you couldn't pay your bills in the first place, so how can you now pay off this loan of, it's like a like a loan shark style loan, right, where it's like a really high interest rate that you're just paying. The big thing for what that means for the district is that if you think of something new, it's not happening. That's not what they're there for. The board loses all ability to vote on anything that has a price tag. They can only vote on education related things, but if it has a price tag, the state gets a say in it. Most of your administration team will probably be gone. We'll probably hemorrhage teachers because nobody wants to work in a district that's like that. We'll lose students because nobody wants to send their kids to a district that's like that if they have the option, which then makes the financial situation even worse, which is why once a district gets into receivership, it's incredibly difficult to get out, because it just is a downward spiral until everything stops, and then it can build back, but we're talking years for that to happen. So things will start getting cut it doesn't matter if they're prized possessions for the district, but those things will get cut. Anything that is considered an extra or excess, specialized programs, sports, things like that, go away. So it becomes very, very difficult to run and operate a district. So of course, that is why at all costs we're trying to avoid that.
Thanks, Josh. Does anybody else have questions, or I can?
Any other questions or comments?
I can move.
Okay.
I can move to approve the 2025-2026 second interim budget report.
Okay, I have a first by trustee Gasson. Second, thank you, trustee Jacobson. All those in favor? 7, 1 student advisory vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Josh. Next is approval to delegate authority to the superintendent or designee to award the total base rent. Amendment 1 for the roof repairs project at Rancho Elementary School to E.F. Bread and Company, Inc. upon Division of State Architect approval.
Thank you. So back in January, we found E.F. Bread to be the best value contractor for this project. Since then, the project has been submitted to DSA in January, and it's currently under review now. The DSA tracker is showing the access control and fire life safety both at 85% reviewed. The structural is at 85% for the junior reviewer, but the senior reviewer is at 1%, so we don't have comments back yet. EF Bread has gone ahead and bid the project out. They are under budget at this point, and we are holding some money for any potential DSA ADA requirements that may come up. The last couple of years, we've come to you early, or I guess late, to ask for a delegation of authority to award, and we're just trying to be proactive at this point, get that delegation at this point with this approval tonight. Any questions?
Seeing no questions, may I please have a motion to approve the approval of the delegate authority to the superintendent or designee? Thank you, trustee Mack. Second, thank you, trustee Jacobson. All those in favor? 7 with 1 student advisory vote. Thank you.
Yep.
So moving on to approval to delegate authority to the superintendent or designee to award the total base rent amendment 1 for the mini gym repair project at San Marin High School to EF Brett and Company Inc. upon Division of State Architect approval.
Okay, so this is a similar situation. EF Brett was found as the best value contractor in December. Since then, the project was submitted to DSA in December, and it's the same case where we're at 85% for both the fire life safety and access control, as well as the junior reviewer for structural, but it's that 1% for the senior structural engineer. DSA has let us know that for both projects, or at least for all the projects, that they received like 900 submissions for projects towards the end of the year. And so it's taking them 6 to 8 weeks longer to go ahead and do a review. So on both cases, we don't anticipate getting approval until just before summer. So again, we're bringing this delegation of authority to you. Hopefully you approve it so that we can get going with the project as soon as it's DSA approved.
Questions, comments?
Just quick question about timeline. So what does that look like for a timeline on a project like this?
As far as construction goes, the timeline doesn't change as long as we get DSA approval in time. As we get closer, there are things that we can do in terms of asking DSA to try and expedite some of the review. That sometimes doesn't go over great, but at least getting the numbers identified and kind of start to get the subcontractors locked in so that they're not looking for other work at this point is kind of desirable.
May I please have a motion to approve this? Thank you, Trustee Alexander. Thank you, Trustee Pickes. All those in favor? 7 with 1 student advisory vote. Thank you. Okay, next is review and approve board policy update in the 900 bylaw series 1, first reading.
All right, this is a first reading, even though it is an existing policy. So this is Board Bylaw 9320.1, remote meetings and attendance. So that point 1 is important because this part of what you're moving into a second reading for next meeting is been extracted from the larger 9320. And so we're bringing it to you just so you know they've now been separated and slightly updated. The remote meetings in this case are emergency situations only. This isn't us moving into remote meetings on a regular basis. So that's just clarity there. So then for next meeting and second reading, you will actually see the updates for 9320 and 9320.1. This needs a vote to move to second reading.
Any questions, comments? Thank you, Trustee Butler. And then Trustee Mack, do you want a second? Thank you, Trustee Mack. All those in favor? 7 with 1 student advisory vote. Thank you. Moving on to approval of resolution number 21, 2025-2026 board composition for missed meetings. So this resolution is for Trustee Jacobson wasn't able to attend our last board meeting, so we just want to make sure we want to move forward to compensate her since the policy or her excuse is under board policy. So we just want to make sure that she gets compensated. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Thank you, Trustee Mack. Can I get a second? Thank you, Trustee Alexander. All those in favor?
It's a roll call.
Oh, thank you. This is a roll call vote. Trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Gasson.
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson.
Aye.
Trustee Lametta, aye. Trustee Mack.
Aye.
Trustee Pickes.
Aye.
Oh, that's pretty much it. Okay. Thank you so much for attending tonight's meeting. We will see you at our next board meeting. This meeting has been adjourned.